In the village of Obodo, no one could rival the beauty of Adamma. Her skin was as smooth as river stones, her eyes sparkled like stars, and her smile could make flower bloom in the driest season. Men came from far and wide to seek her hand in marriage, bringing gifts of beads, baskets of yam, and even fine clothes. But Adamma's beauty was matched only by her pride. She dismissed each suitors, her voice dripping with disdain as she said, "I will not marry a simple farmer or a poor hunter. My husband must be a man of wealth and power." Even the village elders who had watched her grow from a child into the young woman she had become worry about her attitude. They would gather under the old bahuba tree, shake their head, and murmur among themselves. Adama's heart is blinded by her own reflection, one elder would say, and it will lead her into trouble one day. But Adamma was deaf to their advice. She looked upon the men of her village as beneath her, convinced that her beauty would draw someone truly exceptional, a man from distant land with riches beyond measure. Then one late evening, as the sun deepened below the horizon and bathed Obodo in a golden glow, a stranger rode into the village. He was a sight to behold, tall, strong, and strikingly handsome. His skin gleamed like a polished ebony under the warning light. He wore a robe made from the finest silk, adorned with gold and jewelries. On his finger, rings glittered in a spectrum of color. He was no ordinary man. That much was clear to everyone who looked upon him. The villagers murmured in awe and curiosity, and children followed him from a distance, eyes wide open. The stranger introduced himself as Nduka, a wealthy trader from a distant kingdom. His voice was smooth as honey, his laughter deep and warm. When he spoke, people felt compelled to listen. He claimed to have come to Obodo seeking a beautiful bride, a woman so beautiful that she would make his long journey worth while. Adamma's heart skipped a beat when she heard this. Here was the man she had been waiting for, she thought. Her confidence soared, and she convinced herself that Nduka had come just for her. She had no doubt that she, with her unmatched beauty, would be the only woman to capture his attention. For days, Nduka roamed the village, mingling with the villagers and speaking kindly to everyone he met. He offered coins to the children, praised the farmers for their hard work, and even gave gifts to the elders, who received him with polite curiosity but a weary heart. They would not understand why a man of such wealth and status would wander so far into their humble village, but they dare not question him too openly. Adamma, however, didn't hesitate. She made sure to catch his eye at every opportunity, flashing him her brightest smiles, tossing her hair, and letting her laughter fill the air. Whenever he was near, her pride swollen with every glance he gave her and every word he spoke. One day, Nduka approached her and said, "Adamma, you are indeed the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Your radiance would put the finest jewelry to shame. Will you be my bride and come to live with me in my kingdom?" Overcome with joy and excitement, Adamma barely hesitated. She had waited her whole life for a moment like this. Here was a man who met every standard she had set, and she couldn't wait to leave behind the simple village life. With a smile as radiant as the sun, she replied, "Yes, Nduka, I will be your bride." Their wedding was the grandest the village had ever seen. Nduka spared no expense, providing fine food, exotic wines, and gifts for every family. Musicians played all night, and the villagers danced until their feet ached. Even those who were once weary of him found themselves charmed by his generosity. For that night, it seems like Adamma's pride had been rewarded. She was the bride of a wealthy, handsome man who could give her everything she had ever dreamed of. But as the night drew to a close and the stars began to fade, Nduka took Adamma's hand. "My dear," he whispered, "it is time for us to go. My people are waiting to welcome you in my kingdom." Adamma eagerly climbed onto his horse, her heart filled with dreams of life of luxury. The villagers waved them off, some cheering, others watching in silence, worried, for something about the stranger's departure into the dark forest seemed unnatural. As they rode, the landscape began to change. The familiar sight of Obodo grew distant, replaced by thick trees and twisted roots that seemed to gash at the ground like claws hands. Shadow danced around them, and a heavy fog settled over the path, thick enough to marvel every sound but the steady club of Nduka's horse. Adamma's excitement began to fade, replaced by a growing unease. She clutched at Nduka's arm. "Where is your village, my husband? This path does not look like one that leads to any kingdom I have heard of." Nduka turned to her, and for the first time she noticed a strange gleam in his eyes. His smile, which had once seemed warm, now looked cold and sinister. "My village," he replied, "is not like any you have heard of, Adamma. But don't worry, my people are expecting us. They are preparing a grand feast in your honor." They rolled deeper into the forest, and with each step, Adamma watched in horror as her husband's appearance began to change. His fine robe became tattered and faded, the jewelry in his ring dulled, and his skin turned ashen and rough, like bark. His handsome face twisted, the smoothness giving way to cracks and lines that spread like roots across his cheeks. "Nduka," she stammered, her voice trembling with fear, "what is happening to you?" He laughed, a low-born chilling sound. "Did you truly think you could win the heart of a man of such wealth and power? No, Adamma, I am not a man. I am a spirit from the evil forest, sent to find the most beautiful maiden in Obodo to offer as a meal for my people." Adamma's heart stopped. She tried to pull away, but Nduka's grip tightened, his hand cold as stone. She looked around, but there was nothing but darkness and twisted trees, branches reaching out like skeletal arms. She could hear faint whisper and the sound of shuffling feet, hidden in the shadow, as if countless unseen eyes were watching her, waiting. "Please," she whispered, tears streaming down her face, "let me go. I will marry any man in the village, live a humble life. Anything you ask, just let me go." But Nduka was void of pity. "You choose me for my wealth and beauty, Adamma. You look down upon your own people. Now you belong to me and my people, and we are hungry." With that, he dragged her deeper into the forest, where shadows moved and unseen figures lurked, whispering and laughing in eerie tones. Adamma's cry was followed by the darkness, and her beauty, which she had once valued above all, was now her curse. In Obodo, the villagers never saw Adamma again. Her story became a warning to those who place pride and arrogance above kindness and humility. They said that on nights when the moon is hidden, if you listen closely at the edge of the evil forest, you can hear her sorrowful cries, a haunting reminder of the price of unchecked pride. And so the people of Obodo learned to cherish kindness over beauty, for they knew that true worth lie not in wealth or look, but in the heart.